In Yu's house kitchen, your hot pickup bit face was not helping either. Clutching the fabric over chest, you shut your eyes tightly. A drop of tear rolled down your cheek, which you wiped when you heard footsteps. Priya, where are you? Everyone is waiting for your special snacks. She chimed in the kitchen but stopped seeing you swiping your hand across your face before putting up a smile, most probably a fake one. Yes, sister, I was just coming. You chipped back and placed the bowls full of snacks on the tray. He was tried walking past, Priya telling her to join them, but Priya held your arm. You closed your eyes but opened them when you was gently pulled. Priya, were you crying? Asked her, scratching her eyebrows in consent, to which you gave a small smile. You not at all. It was just fluid which went into my eyes. You know me, right? I am born to make goof ups. You giggled, avoiding eye contact. Priya, but you, of a sister, just a while ago you were saying that everyone is waiting, and now you yourself have engaged me in talks. Now come on, let's go before Kaira again starts shouting, and you know what happened when she shouted. You interrupted with humor and dragged Priya with you, thanking her stars when the latter smiled and shook her head instead of asking more questions. In living room, Kaira and Rina, both equal, seeing you entering the hall with their favorite. They literally ran to you to take their individual balls, causing you to smile at them fondly when the rest shook their head. Megha, this girl is still like a kid. Megha muttered to herself with a small smile. Once Kyra and were done, you moved to the rest and placed the trays on the table. You was about to sit when you saw Ken working and trying with a furious speed. You shook your head. You can at least keep work away during family time, spoke in a chinned tone. Lifting his eyes to her for a second, Ken smiled sheepishly but continued with his work. Ken, I know you, but I really need to finish this presentation. Tomorrow we have a really important meeting, and that with one of the most influential and well-known businessmen. Can't afford mistakes, said signing at the end. You frowned and looked at his shoe director walking to Ken. You sat beside him on the sofa. This is for our new bridal collection launch, right? Which was to happen in collaboration with some other company? Asked, scrunching your eyes to which a busy Ken nodded. You frowned deepened. This is the same deal which has created havoc in the office, right? Everyone has been talking about it today. Not wanting to interrupt their work and get late myself. I didn't get asked them anything, but who is this person and why is everyone gushing over this collaboration so much? Asked confused. During mega warning, you was not allowed to participate in heavy office work, but you couldn't help when the excitement of the employees reached your eyes and ears by itself. Well, that's because this company is one of the biggest fashion company in Asia, and if this collaboration happens, then nothing can stop our company from reaching peak of success. And for that, you all have to work this much. I know that working is compulsory, but like this, you shot another question, and this time was welcomed by a checker from him. Ken, he is not someone to tolerate mistakes. You one small mistake, and he may even cancel the meeting. He is this strict. Ken, oh, more than that, you haven't heard what the media and his employees says about him, have you? He is like a volcano. For anyone look, he may look calm, but once triggered, he will erupt like lava. Despite being the most eligible bachelor, he doesn't even have any relationship with any girl. Ken, he displays relationships so much. I have even heard that after undergoing some issue in his personal life, he has turned into a wonderland, and I can't afford to tease him. Then Jock, not seeing Yu's expression turning into an unknown fear, as his description painted an image of someone in your mind, someone you did it to be here. You, what is his name? Asked your voice one tone above a whisper. Kente. Priya, for you, now you don't start with your office talk. It is family time and we should enjoy and not work like law. Interrupted looking at Ken, who passed her a mocking tight smile and continued with his work. You snapped back from your trace and faked a small smile and ate a piece of snack Mega bought near your mouth. Mega, enough you. As long as you keep thinking about him, you will end up linking everything to him. Just relax, she tried. But somehow failed to relax the immense fear in her heart. First that feeling and now this. First that feeling and now this. What was happening? Time skips to office. Ken, great then, Mr. Ken. The deal is confirmed. Looking forward to work with you. Ken smiled firmly and forwarded his hand to Taeyong, who kept his usual straight face and shook hand with him, nodding. Taeyong, thanks, Mr. Ken. It is a pleasure for us to work with your company. So let's schedule our next meeting. So, ask to which Ken nodded. Taeyong, great. Taeyong muttered and turned to walk out of the cabin with some people right behind him. Leaving behind a Ken with his equally pleased and satisfied stop, he walked in the corridor but abruptly stopped, feeling his heartbeats go wild once again. Shaking his head, he ignored the feeling and resumed his walk, not noticing the figure standing at a distance, clutching the fabric over her heart with her eyes shut. You, ma'am, an overexcited voice brought you back to it. Open your mouth, you composed yourself and smiled as the young lady approaches you. What is the matter, Anna? You look exhausted, asked with an amused smile. Anna smiled widened. Anna, it indeed a good news. We banged the deal. She stopped hearing her name being called, excused herself, she walked away. You smiled and entered the office only to find Ken walking out of his cabin with a broad smile. So when you dare it is, you sequeled hugging him. Ken, you hugged her back. Congratulations, Ken. You chipped, breaking the hug. Ken, thanks. You are. It is such a relief. Excellent relief. You laughed and looked at the exhausted staff and then at him. You so no treat. You wriggled your eyebrows. Ken was about to answer when he stopped and scratched his chin as if thinking deeply whether to agree or not, causing you to credit him. He chattered at her face. Ken, okay, okay, done. You, that more like it. You patted his shoulder and laughed. Ken, anyways, why are you here? Didn't mom ask you to rest? Asked after a few minutes. You, are you chasing me out of your office? You fake under to which Ken shook his head. Ken, I know you very well. You, if you stay here, you will end up engrossing yourself in some work, forgetting everything else around you, even yourself. He spoke as a matter of fact. You, and maybe you forgot that mom herself gave me permission to come here, said with a bright smile. Ken, and that was with the condition that you will come to office only twice a week. So now no excuse. Ken corrected and turned her shoulder. You, but No, but no, if you wanted it right, so let's go and enjoy. I'm not letting you work. Love my life, and I definitely won't like if I lost it in the hands of mom. So it is better we get going. Come on. He insisted and took you with him despite your protest. You can at least listen to me. You tried to speak as they neared their car. Ken, I told you not to speak. Let's just enjoy her. I will call Kyra and tell her to bring Rina and your sister, then we will have a blast, he said excitedly, getting a smack on his arm from you. Ken, what? Oh, about your sister? She is virtually stubborn. Don't you notice how she is always intimidating me, always chinning and annoying me? He complained, making a pure sad face. You just checked and sat in the car waiting for him to complete the call. It was useless to argue with him both about the office and about Ria. These two are like Tom and Jerry, and she definitely does not want to be stuck between the fights. It's while closing her bag, Cyril slumped on the bed excited. She looked at her phone, which seemed only to find a message from Hira. We are down waiting for you. Come on quickly, otherwise we will get late for airport. She put her phone down, not so pleased. It was yesterday that Hira informed her that she booked her ticket for Jeju as well. It was a surprise which turned worse when she found that Taeyang has no idea about her tagging along with his family. Not having any good feeling about this, she tried to refuse but couldn't due to the consistent insistence of the family, and here she is debating whether this is all good or not. She knew the intentions of the family, but she also knew the decision of Taeyang. Time skips into Juicy. Hira, how are you, Taeyang? Asked nervously away from the hug as she felt Taeyang posture going rigid. She gulped when he gave her a known look of irritation and turned back to see another lamb inwardly shivering from the burning gaze Taeyang threw at her. Hira, oh, Taeyang, Shreya, she trailed off, seeing the look on Taeyang's face. No excuse will work right now, she knew it. Taeyang, what happened to applying for leave before coming here, Shreya? Asked her, trying hard to not grit his teeth. Shreya opened her mouth to answer, but only air came out as she didn't have any reply. How would she? It was yesterday only that Hira had forced her to tag along. Aran, Hang, she asked me, and don't worry, everything has been taken care of. Her absence won't cause any loss in the productivity of the office work. Chris just this time it was Aran who came to her rescue. He cleared his thought and looked away nervously when Taeyang directed his eyes to him. Taeyang sighed and nodded, his face still hardened. Taeyang, you all just go and freshen up. He bubbled and walked back to his room, having a lot to say but not wanting to argue. He knew if he say anything, then he will end up hurting Shreya. He can't do that when all the fault here was his sister. It was Hira who was hell bent on becoming a matchmaker, and even though he wanted to, he couldn't chin her for that. Muttering something under his breath, he slapped the bedroom door closed and chose to stay quiet instead. Shreya exhaled as he gave her another silent insult. The back of her eyelids pricked, but she successfully blinked them back. Hira, Shreya, she looked up at Hira who held her hand. Hira, don't worry, he will come around soon. She repeated her usual dialogue, but Shreya didn't know whether the uncertainty was in her mind or in Hira's voice. Shreya, I think I might just freshen up, Shreya simply said, picking up her luggage. Hira nodded and looked at Shin, who smiled at her. Both led the way of Shreya. Following the suit, Taeyang auntie walked to their respective room, leaving behind three restless souls. Nikhil, why can't anyone see that whatever is happening is wrong? Not only Taeyang but Shreya is also suffering. Nikhil hissed in frustration while his sister did the same. Taehyung uncle signed packing his luggage and walked to his room, not uttering a single word as he has been doing since the last 3 months. Hyra dragged Taeyang despite his protest and pulled him down to make him sit on the chair. Hyra, no excuse. You will have to have your lunch with us. Hyra ripped herself as she served him. Taeyang, I had work to do. Taeyang mumbled, his lips curled in a small smile as Hyra bought a spoonful of rice in front of his mouth, which he gladly ate, feeling at ease as her eyes sparkled with happiness. That's all he wanted, his sister to be happy. That's why he never relates when she does something he dislikes. He can't even stay angry with her. Taeyang, you also eat? He mumbled, making her sit on the chair beside him and forward his hand to serve her when he stopped midway hearing a certain name. Hyra, Shin, come. Hyra invited with her usual smile, which widened as her husband took a seat beside her. Visiting his aunt, Taeyang took it back, chewing his food slowly, crunching it mercilessly as if it was chin. Nikhil signed getting up, informing them that he was done. Throwing the napkin on the table, he left from there. They signed in dejection, especially Taeyang. Unknown to himself, one part of him was missing the pranks Nikhil used to pull on him, that annoyance, that irritation all those days he won't accept, but somewhere he wants it back. At hotel, Kyra, and one hot chocolate please. Kyra smiled, returning the menu card after pleasing the lost child. Nothing what has to be bought. The waiter took the card and went away after a small note. Kyra, she exhaled, turning back to her friends with a smile intact on her face, which however wiped away when her eyes caught the sight of a figure at a distance. What happened? One of the girls asked, seeing the sudden change of expression on her face, casually tossing peanuts on her mouth. Kyra, there. She looked at her before pointing a particular direction, causing the girls to turn back. Kyra, she is Disha, right? Frowning, they looked back at her and nodded. Girl, she is crying. One of them in a blue dress mumbled in concern. Kyra nodded and got up. Kyra, let me see. Pushing the chair behind her slightly, she walked to Disha, followed by Hyra, three friends. Kyra, Disha called softly, placing her hand on their shoulders. Disha, Kyra, recognizing the voice, Disha wiped her tears before turning to her, only to gasp, finding her entire friend soup. Kyra looked concerned as she covered her face. Kyra, what happened? Why are you crying like this? She asked softly. Disha looked at her, then at a particular direction before flinging herself in Kyra's arms. She cried louder. Kyra stood perplexed at the sudden attack on her and gently touched her head hesitantly. Kyra, what happened, Disha? And where is your boyfriend? You were supposed to be with him only, right? Disha, don't take his name. Disha hissed, breaking the hug. Kyra frowned, looking besides her at her friends, then again at her. Kyra, why? Asked confused. Disha, because that idiot broke up with me. Disha wailed louder, blowing her nose in her handkerchief. Kyra blinked her wide eyes twice. Kyra, why? You guys have been together since only a month. Even we haven't seen him yet. Why did he broke up so soon? Disha sniffed. Disha, he says that I am too childish and insecure. Today we had an argument because of that and he broke up with me. Kyra looked taken aback with her wrinkled forehead as Disha blew her nose loudly. This was her fourth breakup and definitely the most painful one. She thought, seeing the red and puffy eyes of her dear friend, she felt anger bubbled inside, thinking of her so-called boyfriend. Sorry, ex-boyfriend? Kaira, that idiot. How could he? Kaira, where is he? Disha sniffing there. She pointed behind her without even looking back. Kaira has travelled at the people sitting at the direction Disha pointed. The cafeteria was almost empty. Every table had either a couple or a family except for one. There were two boys sitting there. She was momentarily lost in one of the guys. She looked like a Greek god. Perfect eyes, perfect jawline, perfect. Kaira man, stop Kaira. She chinned herself in her head and shook her head. This must be the guy. He was quite according to Disha's choice. Taking a deep breath, she marched towards the table, fuming. She smirked when she saw the other guy exited. At least now she does not need to be considered for any other person sitting there. The other guy walked past her and she didn't notice him walking to Disha. Boy, Disha, he called, shocked at the voice. Disha, look up from the arms of her friend. Disha, you? She frowned. How did Kaira finish her work this soon? Why, Disha, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have talked to you like that. I'm really sorry. Please forgive me. The guy apologized, but Disha's mind was somewhere else. Disha, if you are here, then to whom did Kaira? She trailed off her eyes widened as she turned her head behind swiftly, only to see Kaira approaching towards another boy, and before she could call out her name, Kaira had already emptied the whole glass of water on that guy's head. Disha, she cried, placing her hand on her head. Nikhil was sitting in the cafeteria waiting for his sister to finish picking up her stuff from the stores when he heard the quarrel of the couple seated on a table beside him. He stayed quiet and then sighed, seeing the girl running away with tears in her eyes while the guy sat with his face in his palm. He pondered for a few seconds before finally getting up and walked to the guy. Nikhil, hey, he greeted, sitting on the chair beside him. The guy looked up at him, frowning. Nikhil sighed. Look, I don't mean to sound intrusive, but I couldn't help but hear your entire conversation. I know it is your personal matter, but I don't think you should end your relationship like that. He said, carefully praying that the guy won't feel offended by his opinion. The guy instead signed, hiding his face in his palm once again. Guy, I know, but I can't do anything. She had trust issue from our past relationship, and because of that, she keep on doubting on me, he mumbled. Nikhil smiled. Then you should help her recover from her past. If she is still affected by it, I guess you knew what you signed for when you dated her. Then now all of a sudden ditched her, and that too at such an early stage of your relationship. Did you think this will help her? The guy looked up at him, his helplessness and sadness reflected on his face. Nikhil, look man, I don't know much, but it was evident she loves you a lot. No one will let go of their ego and apologize like that. Now it is up to you. Do you really wanna end your relationship without even a proper conversation? Added lastly. His heart feeling a familiar pain all of a sudden, thinking about another relationship that ended due to a mere misunderstanding and lack of communication. Guy, you are right, I should give it a second chance. Thanks a lot. The guy extended his hand but stopped, realizing that he didn't even know his name yet. Nikhil smiled and shook his hand with him. They introduced themselves, exiting. Guy then got up. His eyes tried to locate Disha, praying that she is still there. He smiled when he found her standing at a distance with a group girls, and without wasting any more seconds, he sprinted towards her. Nikhil smiled and looked down at his phone. Where is she? He thought about his sister looking at the time and then towards the store. He was about to get up when he felt a sudden and violent splash of water on his face. He fell back on his chair coughing. Nikhil, what the? He screamed horrified and looked up to find a girl breathing fire. Kaira, exactly, she greeted and pulled him up by his collar. Kaira, what the hell? How dare you leave my friend like that? Nikhil was taken aback by the sudden turn of events, and before he acted further, he felt another warm liquid being poured on his head. It rolled into his white t-shirt, soaking and ruining it completely. Some dropped to pull from his jacket. By the smell, he guessed it was an espresso, which cooled down during the argument between the couple. Nikhil, what on earth do you think you are doing? He gritted. Kaira, I am giving you what you deserve, you idiot. She greeted back. Both stated it with the same anger. Nikhil, sister, brother. Their gaze traveled to the source of the horrified voice. His sister gasped, seeing Nikhil's condition, and rushed to them. Nikhil's sister, brother, what happened to you? Asked worriedly. Nikhil was about to answer when Kaira spoke. Kaira, he is your brother, shouted, looking at his sister, who then noticed her. Nikhil's sister, Kaira, she whispered, seeing her long time no see friend, and then at Nikhil. Nikhil's sister, will you care to explain to me what the hell is happening? She asked, looking back and forth at the trio. You look like your friend has lost it. Don't know from which mental hospital she just escaped. His sister frowned while Kaira jaw dropped. How dare he? Burning in anger, she held the vase placed on the table and lifted it. Nikhil, hey, Nikhil brought his hand in front of his face, alarmed by her actions. He exhaled the breath as he was holding when Kaira was held back by the same girl who just ran away crying. Disha, Kaira, no! Disha shouted, holding her arm. Kaira looked at her, then at Nikhil, who now seemed to understand what just happened. He gritted his teeth, seeing the opposite guy. It should have been him, he had wretched in coughing. Kaira, leave me, Disha. Let me fix this. A boyfriend of yours said angrily. Disha puffed, seeing her angry form, and jerked her. Disha, Kaira, stop. He's not my boyfriend, she shouted. Kaira, yes, and that's wait, what? Kaira stopped and looked at Disha wide-eyed. Disha nodded, gulping, and looked at scared guy beside her. Disha, he is my boyfriend. This guy was just explaining him that he shouldn't leave me like that, said slowly, feeling sorry for Nikhil. Kaira gulped now fed and instantly let go of the vase which spilled on the table with a thumb. She hurriedly put it back safely. Kaira, sorry, very sorry, she apologized, seeing the attention of other people drawn to her and glanced at Nikhil from the corner of her eyes. He was standing looking at her with his arm crossed to his chest, his eyebrow raised, dared her to talk. She tried but failed to dislodge the lump in her throat and held Disha's arm, pulling her nearer. Kaira, how the hell did your choice change drastically? Asked, feeling embarrassed and angry. Disha stuttered, love is blind. She slightly shrugged her shoulder. Kaira shook her head and scoffed. Because of this idiot, she messed up straightening her posters. She cleared her thought before looking at the Nikhil, but all her courage to speak flew away when her eyes met with his. Kaira, I'm sorry. Actually misunderstand Nikhil, dear sister. I'm waiting for you near the car. Come soon. Nikhil cut off her statement and turned only to find his sister pressing her palm against her mouth to control her laughter. Scoffing at her, he walked away. Nikhil, better mind my own business next time, he muttered. As soon as he went, his sister broke into fist of laughter while Kyra stood there chewing her nails nervously. Disha silently signaled her boyfriend to come with her before Kyra killed him, both scared, ignoring the questions of her friend who didn't get her trials of what happened. Nikhil sobered herself, seeing the fallen face of Kyra. Shaking her head, she quickly took out her small notepad and wrote her number on it. Nikhil's sister, Kyra, it's okay. Don't worry. Call me on this number, okay? We have a lot to catch up on. But right now I need to go, she said, handing her the sheet of paper before running to meet Nikhil. Kyra looked at the number and said, Kyra, again I messed up, she mumbled. Taehyungff's living room. Taehyung auntie, Nikhil, did you mind to drink coffee or bath in it? She exclaimed as Nikhil walked past. The strong smell of espresso emitted from him, and his taste changed. Without a word, Nikhil just climbed the stairs to his bedroom, his face grumpy as ever. Taehyung, what happened to him? He muttered, lifting his eyes from the laptop screen to follow Nikhil's movements. Hyra frowned as well. Nikhil's sister, nothing, just a small misunderstanding occurred, nothing serious, said, giving them a quick smile, and followed Nikhil, who was abruptly in a very bad mood, feeling the family in confusion. Nikhil's room, crazy girl, Nikhil muttered through gritting teeth, looking at his perfectly ruined t-shirt before disposing it for washing. He doubted the stains will fade. In your room, you closed the bathroom door and walked to the mirror, wiping your hair. You sat down and took the brush to entangle your tangled stress. You signed finishing and took the towel again when you noticed a fine scar on the side of your forehead. You touched it lightly as your mind drifted off the past. You get it when you break the mirror to get out of his thought 3 months back. Gasping, you jerked from your place when you felt a sudden blow of cold air from the open window. One teardrop fell on your hand, and that's when you realized you was crying. Your eyes were already puffy as if you have been crying for hours. You signed, shaking your head, feeling disappointed. Wiping your tears, you got up and walked to the wardrobe. Taking out your white shovel, you slid the balcony glass door open and crouched yourself on the coffee sofa. Wrapping the shovel around yourself, you hid your face in your knees and tried to control the overwhelming emotions inside you. Meanwhile, at a cliff, getting out of from his car, Taeyang inhaled the air around him and leaned his back against the closed car door. He looked around, his lips curled into a small smile. It was a small cliff, but extremely beautiful as he guessed. It was indeed very peaceful. The air itself was smoothing. He had noticed this place the day he came here, but never got any chance to visit it here. And now that he finally here, all he could do was to appreciate the calmness around him. Removing his coat, he sat on the grass, folding the coat on his arm, and leaned his head on the car and looked up at the sky. A gush of wind flew, ruffling his already refreshing hair and making him close his eyes, bringing another memory in his mind, a memory that brought a bittersweet ache to his heart. Taeyang, you, what are you doing? Will you care to tell me? And why the hell have you blindfolded me? Is this again one of your crazy antics? Asked, trying hard to keep in anger in check as you lead him to God know where. It's been more than an hour since you had blindfolded him. And despite his 1,000 questions, you didn't even reply once properly. You have some patience, Taeyang, said up time you don't have a hint of smile. Okay, now stand here and don't remove the blindfold. No cheating, okay? Said and walked away, leaving Taeyang groaning inwardly. He ground his teeth in expression but somehow controlled himself from lashing out at you. He need to keep calm, no need. No matter how much he hated her, he can't show his anger now until he gained what he wants. Taeyang controlled Taeyang. It is just a matter of few more days, then you can put an end of our so-called drama. He calmed himself. The mask of love should not slip away no matter what. He forced a smile on his face when he felt your presence behind him and your hand unknotted the knot of the cloth behind his head. You now open your eyes. He whispers softly, removing the cloth completely. Taehyung shook his head, stretching his fake smile, and slowly opened his eyes, only to be thunderstruck by the sight. His eyes widened and his mouth hung low as he took a few steps forward, looking around. They were at the top of a cliff, but the cliff wasn't the thing that looked by surprise, but instead it was a decoration that made him awestruck. The few bushes and trees were shining with fairy lights, and amidst all was a table decorated with rose petals and having a small but beautiful and delicious cake kept in the middle. A small and beautiful canopy was set up near a tree with a bonfire at a distance. He came out of his thoughts when he felt a pair of soft hands around his waist and warm breath on his neck. "You happy birthday, Mr. Kim." You cocked his eyes. Taeyang gasped, holding your hands in his treble. Once he turned around, his expression dumb and lip quivering. "Taeyang, how?" He stuttered, feeling too overwhelmed to speak. You smiled. "Yesterday, Hyra's sister told me about your birthday and also that how much you dislike celebrating it. That's why no one either wish you not celebrate it. But you know what, Mr. Kim?" You snaked your hand around his neck. "I am also Mrs. Kim. I won't accept defeat easily. It is impossible that I don't celebrate my husband's birthday." You winked, your eyes together with love and care, but deep down you feared his reaction. Sister had clearly told her how much he hated when someone even wished him on his birthday, and here she had an entire environment to celebrate his birthday. What if he take it in the wrong way and get angry? However, all her fear flew away when Taeyang hugged you close to himself. Inhaling the breath you was holding, you wrapped your hand around his waist and placed your head on his shoulder. You responded with the same love and intensity. "Taeyang, thank you," whispered hoarsely, hiding his face in the crook of your neck. Gone his anger, his mask of hatred, and now standing in the arm of you was only your Taeyang, who, no matter how much Kim Taeyang tried to suppress, will always emerge out for his you. He placed a kiss on the crook of your neck and pulled you closer to himself, closing his eyes, feeling overwhelmed. Since the last 14 years, no one had celebrated his birthday like this, not even with a simple birthday wish. He was the one preventing everyone from doing so, but no one ever tried, not even his sister. A simple birthday wish through message was all she has been doing, not even for once trying to peek inside a young heart where her Taeyang has been carving for love. But today you did. Despite knowing his anger, you dared to try to make him happy, and you succeed. For the first time after the demise of his mother, he felt special. He felt Taeyang overpowering Kim Taeyang, and that made him feel alive. He opened his eyes, feeling you breaking the hug. Smiling through your slightly moisturized eyes, you cupped his face and kissed his forehead. You don't need to thank me, Taeyang. This is nothing compared to what you did for me. You gave me the whole world by accepting my love, and nothing I can do will ever be enough to thank you for the love you have been showering on me. Nothing at all. You whispered, your voice quickened a bit with emotion. "You trust me." You added, placing your head on his chest once again. If only you looked up, you would have been seeing his disbelief etched in on his face. The spell of the moment broke. With a mere word trust snapped back into his sense, Taeyang looked down to his chest at his smiling face. How could he? How could he let his emotions take overpower him like this? How could he feel anything else than hatred for this girl? How he gulped, closing his eyes, and when he opened them, the warmth was pressed darkness again, and he again looked at you, this time with a gaze that could burn you down. Trust. Such words felt like a curse from your mouth. Trusting you is the last thing he would do. In fact, not even trust. He would never trust you. Taeyang mind. How can someone be so expecting tricking people that even the fake case seems so real? He wondered. For a moment, he indeed thought your emotion in your eyes were real, but no, he'll never let himself be fooled by your innocence once again, never. You, I love you. He heard your sweet confession followed by a flirting kiss over his chest where his heart is beating. He swallowed hard. But I don't love you. I don't. His mind chanted, but his vocal betrayed him. He whispered back almost as a plea to take away all that painful image from his mind. Taehyung, I love you too. He groaned in his deep sleep and opened his eyes only to shut them tightly the next second due to the dabbing sunlight giving his palm in front of his face. He blocked the sunlight and blinked to open his eyes. He found feeling a light pain in his breast and turned to see what it was when he noticed that he was still on the cliff and slept in the sitting position itself, as he was last night. His hand getting hung up on his feet. Lost in the past, he didn't realize when he fell asleep here and accepted it cost him his comfort as well. Always dusting his coat with his hand, he opened the door of his car to get in when he stopped feeling a sudden strange feeling. He looked around with his mere forehead. Everything was the same, except the air around. It changed. It was neither suffocating nor pleasing. It was different. A feeling on which he couldn't put his finger was mixed with the air. The shell of his phone brought him back to his sense and shrugging the alcoholic thoughts aside, he picked the call and sat in his car before driving away from that suddenly turned strange place. After a much-needed warm shower to get rid of your busted headache, you dressed up in your pale blue suit with minimal makeup before walking downstairs where Megha and Priya were seated in hall. Ken must be dressing up for office. This must have already taken dinner to the park, and Kyra must have already left to meet her friend, which she mentioned last night at the dining table. You guessed looking at the clock. It was past 9 o'clock. You signed. You had to get more sleep in the morning. All thanks to your disturbed mind. Priya, you looked up from your thoughts when you heard the voice of Priya. Priya, are you okay? Why are you sleeping till so late? You didn't wake thinking you need sleep, but are you fine? And why do you look so pale? Everything is alright? Priya bombarded her questions in pure concern, not giving you any chance to speak. Megha, calm down, Priya said, getting up from the couch as she noticed you trying but failing to say anything due to Priya's constant questions. She walked to them when they both looked at her. Megha, what happened? You asked, cupping the left side of your face. Priya looked at you, your eyes and facial expression asking the same question. You shook your head, holding her hand, which was on your cheek. I am fine, Mom. Sister, it's just that I am feeling a bit of nervousness all of a sudden. She finished with a slight frown. Megha smiled. It's okay, it happens. Experiencing feeling like nervousness in this condition is common. You don't worry. And you also, Priya. There is nothing to worry about. You nodded and so did Priya. Signing, Priya turned back to you. Priya, okay, you have another appointment with the doctor, right? Come, today I will accompany you, said and turned only to be stopped by you. It's fine, sister, I will manage, said half closing your eyes. Priya, I am saying right, I will come with you. Tyler is already with Kyra, and I can't let you travel in taxis or any other public transport all alone. Not in this condition, Priya replied, adding sternness in her tone with this time. You son, why are you taking the trouble? I will go by myself. Priya, but can either Priya has to accompany her to the hospital, nor do you has to go alone. The trio looked behind to find Ken descending the stairs. Priya sarcastically then, will you take her to the hospital? Ken giving a house-mark smile. Yes, Mr. Bun. I am going to drop her on my way to the office, and when she is done, she can call me and I will send a car to pick her up safely. be hopeful, but before she could retort, you'd intervene. You, that will be good, Ken. Wait, have you got my file? Then we will leave. Ken nodded. Go get your file, but we will be leaving after you finish having your breakfast. You smell and give him a small load where is Priya signed. The you set out from the hospital as soon as you finish your breakfast, and according to the plan, Ken was stopped in front of the hospital. Ken, here it is, your hospital. Ken smiled at you. You returned him the smile and reached for your files placed on the back seat. Once done, you got out of the car and went headed to talk to Ken through the window. Thanks, Ken. Ken, there is no need for thanks. Once you are done, just send me a message. I will send the car, and if there is any problem, then don't even think twice before calling me, okay? You nodded affirmatively, and with that, Ken drove away. You walked into the hospital, checking your files when you frowned. This were not your files. Wrinkling your forehead more, you checked the paper properly. They were office papers. You gasped. These were the files for the meeting Ken was talking about, and it seems you mistakenly took his file instead of your own. You hit your head lightly. Signing at the files in your hand, you turned around. Now it is your responsibility to return him his files without troubling him further. Holding a taxi, you set out from the car. Nikhil's sister, Kara, enough, yaar. Don't be so guilty. It is fine. It was a misunderstanding. You did nothing on purpose, so chill. Brother also will forget it. And is it was more funny than tragic. She reserved with a sense of humor and quizzed Kyra's hand, who sat opposite to her in the restaurant, confessing her guilt for troubling a girl. Kyra signed it her statement and smiled a bit. Kyra, anyway, you say, where did you disappear all of a sudden? Do you even change your number? Do you even know how much I was worrying? After the photography course, we were in touch only through phone calls, but you broke that was as well. Where have you been since the last 3 months? Asked in all in confusion. Nick's sister excelled, her laughter gone as serious took its place. After arrival in Seoul, she didn't find any time to get in touch with any friend, all thanks to the tense and disturbed atmosphere as well as displaced relations. Nick's sister, nothing, Kyra, just a few family issues. She signed heavily. Anyway, do you know any library around here? I needed some books. She changed the topic. Kyra nodded. Yep, I know. Will you go now? I also needed to pick some books. Nick's sister, sure. Paying the bill, both left for the library. In Jay office, Taeyang walked inside the office in his perfect and professional posture as a businessman. Arun walked beside him, discussing from points of the meeting, while his bodyguard trailed behind him. The employee stood up and greeted him with a professional smile, but were met with disappointment when he passed by them without acknowledging their good mornings. Taeyang listened to Arun, adding his own ideas and corrections when his steps started abruptly. A breeze which came out of nowhere blew past him, and he froze momentarily. He looked down at his chest where his heart was pounding. He felt the familiar feeling again, but this time it was much more intensified. As if what is causing this symptom is gross, really gross. His attention was so much towards the change in the environment that he paid deaf ears to Arun, who was asking him constant questions about his sudden silence. He touched his heart, which played faster. His eyes rose and wanted to look in front of him, and he stood perplexed. The taxi had brought you to your destination really quick, owning to their free from traffic roads, and you was now hurrying up to meet your brother and give him his belongings. Respecting everyone, greeting with a smile, you walked inside Ken cabin and looked around. He was not there. Your files were on the table, which means he did reach the office. Then where is he? You, maybe he's preparing for the meeting. You concluded at last the file was there and he hadn't called it. So maybe he didn't even went through this file. Shaking your head, you replaced the files and took your blue file before exiting the cabin. But as soon as you come out, you felt like a shock in washing your face, bringing some undesired feelings. Again, no, you closed your eyes. You shouldn't let it overpower you again. With that resolution, you brought back your smile on your face and resumed your walk, ignoring your heart picking up its pace with each step you took, and then finally you stopped. Your step hurted, your body floated, your smile vanished, and your eyes widened as they crashed into the chocolate brown knobs which you never wished to see again. Your whole body tensed, and after a moment of being paralyzed, you felt your inside trouble, and despite the chaos in your mind, you vaguely noticed that he wasn't in any different situation. The young eyes remained wide. Tae-hyungff, his mouth widened to form the word, but his constant thought betrayed him. Following his gaze, Aaron confusingly looked ahead and gasped, finding you there. Looking back and forth at Tae-hyungff with wide eyes, he gulped, feeling the aftermath of this meeting. You shivered, tremors passed through each and every venous in your body. No, this can't be true. He can't come back. He can't. Your head shook sideways as your step reversed on the records. Your eyes didn't get time to hold back the tears as they followed with a force much akin to the pain you felt in your whole being right now, continuously and without stoppage. Regaining your lost sense after a few seconds, which felt like hell in front of this person, you turned around swiftly and ran away, totally missing the young hand rising to stop you. The young blinked twice, then looked at his slightly extended hand trying to reach for you. He released the breath that was unknowingly stuck in his throat as he took his hand back. She is here in the same city, in the same building, on the same floor, yet 1,000 miles away from him. That thought brought another take to his already deep one from the past. He let out a shuddered breath and briskly walked towards the exit, not paying any attention to the concerned shouts of Aran. He was grateful for his shades, which hid his moist eyes from everyone. Swiping his hand under the shades, he wiped away the tear drop which managed to escape his eyes before they could roll down and make their appearance in front of everyone. Roughly getting into his car, he drove away recklessly, not even caring to fasten his seatbelt. It is truly said the past should stay in the past. If it returns in the present, all it brings is more suffering and deepen the wounds which had just started to heal. Kaira, and this one too, she muttered to herself, keeping a third book over the word two in her hand. She continued walking her eyes, reading the book titles and author name alongside. She was smoking what she was reading when she suddenly bumped into someone. She somehow saved herself from falling, but her books fell in the air before falling right on the head of the person and she bumped into, and who was unlucky enough to kiss the floor. He shrieked, rubbing his head, and looked up to confirm if this girl was blind or not. Kaira gave a sign of relief of being saved from falling and looked at the other person to apologize only to be shocked. You both shouted at the same time. Nikhil's mouth hung low in disbelief as he looked at the walking hyena in the front of him. He should have guessed it was her the moment the book fell on him. Had he gritted his teeth, getting back on his feet and barked, "Nikhil, are you insane? Don't you have any job other than troubling me?" He eyed her with pure expression. Kaira opened her mouth to answer but then closed it again to curb the lump in her throat. Then spoke. "Kaira, I'm really sorry. But she was cut in by Nikhil. Nikhil, you know what? Leave it, forget it. I will just get out of here before Would you break my head? Said, raising his hand in the air and walked away, puffing his breath out. Kyra, hey, listen. Kyra tried to stop him, but he was already out of the library. She hit her head and closed her eyes, feeling self-triggered. Nikhil stopped. What all this? Kyra looked back at her, who was signaling to the fallen book on the floor. Kyra shook her head, immediately picking up the book. She put them on the two books in her hands and ran out shouting. Kyra, I'll come in a minute, and she was gone before she could even open her mouth. Nikki's sister, this girl is crazy, said to herself. Kyra, oh, hello, mistress, stop, please, hey, she shouted, running behind him. Library outside, Nikhil hefted his eyes, closed his meditation. He turned around to be appended Kyra and crossed his arms over his chest. Nikhil, what? His voice was cut. Kyra looked at him apologetic for a second, then she started. Kyra, look, I'm really very sorry for what I did last time. I wanted to apologize and clear everything they wrote it, but you left without hearing anything. Anyway, I'm sorry, really sorry. I should have asked Disha properly about her boyfriend before acting, but you know, the way she was crying just triggered me, and without much thinking, I poured the water and the coffee on you. And would have even slapped you if Disha hadn't stopped me. Sorry, please forgive me, even for today also. I seriously had no intention to make you file. I was just looking at the book and she spoke. Her face and eyes held different emotions, her lips pouting at some points, her eyes apologizing along with her mouth, and all Nikhil could do was to admire her. At first he was irritated by her constant blubbering. Doesn't she get tired of talking? He wondered. But as he saw the expression on her face, he couldn't help but admire her cuteness. He kept the poker face, listening to whatever she was saying with patience, regardless the fact that his words were barely making any sense. Even when it did, he wouldn't know. She was talking so fast. Kaya, and that's why I'm sorry. She finally finished and looked at him with her puppy eyes and pouted face, asking for forgiveness. He looked away when he no longer could hide the curl of his lips and coughed to clear his throat before turning back to her, who still had that hopeful look on her face. He smiled this time with no attempt to hide it. Nikhil, it's okay. I understand. You don't need to apologize. It is completely fine. He reassured, then added jokingly. Nikhil, but next time you need to beat someone or to soak them in any kind of ring, just make sure they are your exact target or not. Kyra Boat smiled, reduced to a sheepish one, and she nodded me kitty. Nikhil checked her face and extended his hand for a handshake. Nikhil, by the way, Nikhil, he introduced himself. She smiled, sliding her hands into his. Kyra. Nikhil, nice name. He muttered, and she blushed slightly, taking her hand back, equally tucking her finger behind her ear. She asked, changing the topic. Kyra, okay, I guess now I should leave, said. Looking back, her friend will kill her if she returned late. Kyra, bye, said hurriedly and ran back to the library. Nikhil smiled and waved his hand. Nikhil, bye, he muttered with a small smile. Ken entered his cabin and took his file from the table. He skipped through the pages to ensure everything was fine before proceeding to the meeting schedule with Mr. Kim with his assistant Anna fled through the door to his cabin. Ken, Anna, careful, he chinned as she nearly tripped over her own feet. Have you forgotten how to know? Anna gulped, her breathing irregular because of running. Anna, I'm sorry, sir. Actually, the meeting with Mr. Kim has been cancelled. She informed nervously, knowing well how important this meeting was and how angry Ken can get due to this unprofessional behavior. And as she expected, the next second he snapped. Ken, what the hell? What nonsense are you speaking? Mr. Kim was already here, wasn't he? Then how the hell can this meeting be cancelled? Asked his tone, scaring the fit out of this pure assistant. She nodded. But his manager said that due to some emergency, he had to return back home. And Ken, okay, fine. Thanks for informing. You may leave now. He uttered her statement rudely. Anna nodded quickly and secured out of the job. Gavin, not wanting any more scolding from her boss. Ken plucked the file on his table and breathed out a sign of expression. He was usually a calm and fun to work with type of boss, but there were certain matters that he would not tolerate. Unprofessional behavior was one of them. But this kind of behavior from the Kim Tae-Young is unexpected and rare. Maybe there was actually an emergency, he thought. Whatever it is, now that the meeting is cancelled, he should concentrate on other work instead of wasting any more time. Signing, he went back to his seat when his phone rang. He phoned saying Dr. Maya. He used gynecologist's name flashing on his mobile screen. Ken, hello. He answered the call. Hello Ken, it's me, Dr. Maya. Sorry to disturb you, but I called to ask, is you okay? Ask her putting some report file back at the table. His phone dipped. Ken, yeah, bye. What happened? Maya, that's what I am asking you, Ken. What happened? Normally she wouldn't miss any of her appointments, but today she here by 10 o'clock and it is already past, didn't show. She was supposed to be 10:30 and she's still nowhere to be seen. I asked her at the reception as well. She wasn't here. Is she? Hello? Hello? She sounded confident as the call was cut abruptly. Ken got the call, his mind perplexed. His hand himself dropped at the hospital. Then how it is possible that she wasn't there? He saw her covered in fear, but somehow controlled the rush of worry inside him. He hurried out of his cabin, dialed the landline number of his own. She must be there only. Where else can she go? It came action leaving Maran. He looked up to find the visual faces of his file members and nodded in despair. And it's true, sister. You is here in Jeju. Hang and I saw her today. In office, she's here, she's back. He lifted his voice, raised with the ceremony. His hands by his side, fisted at the realization of Priya also being in the same city. His jaw clenched as a flash of remembrance passed through his mind. He looked intently at his family members. The news brought a range of emotions. Some were angry, some were worried, while one was still expressionless. However, he failed to notice the delightful eyes of one certain person. Shin turned his face around for a second as he found himself in danger of smiling. Happiness erupted in his whole being as his mind registered you was no far away from him. He turned his gaze around and smiled inwardly as he saw the mortified faces of the whole family. He found immense happiness in their discomfort, but he had to keep up with this worried mask as his beloved wife turned to him. Hyla breathed heavily and gulped to master her joy thought, her mind unable to process anything logical. The mere thought of you back in her life was unacceptable. The impact she left previously was still now here to heal, and her return will be nothing but worsen the situation. Her eyes inwardly moved to Shin. She doubted that she saw a different emotion in his eyes before, but he felt in them. She shook her head and no, she can't come back. She just can't. Her return would mean her destruction, which she can't accept. Last time she lost her baby only, but this time she feared she will lose both her husband and her brother. She saw the lips of her aunt twitched in disgust and moving intently, but she didn't pay any attention to her as she announced her resolution. There was only one thing that could bring you back in their lives, and she needed to prevent that. Hira, stop all of you, she shouted amidst the conversation which quieted everyone. The taken aback eyes gazed on her and she closed her eyes momentarily and wiped her face with her hands before starting. Hira, no one will bring this topic ever again, she ordered and turned to confess her. Hira, Maran, forget that you ever saw the girl in this city and you all. She turned back to the rest. Forget that you ever hear about her. Where is about when Taeyang will return, I will talk to him myself. From now, I want you all to leave this matter here only. Under no circumstance I want this thing to be discussed. Because I don't want neither Nikhil nor his sister to know about you. They should not know that she is here. It's a matter of only a few days. After that, we will return their home. Till then, just calm down. Nothing will happen. Nothing at all. Said the last bit as a reason to herself as she walked away, trying to hide her scared eyes. Taehyung praying for you would not bring her back. That she knew, but Nikhil blind faith can. If Nikhil or his sister, any one of them came to know about her, she will be doomed, and along with her, Taehyung also. Shin, Princess is right. Nikhil is already upset with all of us. If now he came to know about you, then he will distance himself even more, and worse than that, he may even bring the girl big girl. It is better to keep calm. He supported her not because she was right, but because he didn't want any more and said, Puppy behind you. Giving his speech a beautiful dance and he moved to his room to continue his act as a perfect husband. His man making plans meanwhile. The gaming is going to be fun now. Taehyung auntie sighed in detention with her eyes caught the sight of a distressed Roya standing at a distance. She shook her head sympathetically and walked to her. Taehyung auntie, don't worry, Shreya said, keeping her hand on Shreya's shoulder and make the latter realizing her presence. Taehyung auntie, that girl will never be able to get her plan. Bliss back in this family and in Taehyung life. You, she stopped as Shreya slid her hand off her shoulder. Shreya, are you serious? Do you really think I am thinking about my place in Taehyung life? In fact, do you all think this is the appropriate time to think about you? For heaven's sake, she is not the priority right now, but Taehyung is. You all know how he is feeling since you left, and now God knows where he went after seeing his boss right in front of him. And instead of searching for him, you are searching where to keep you away from Nikhil and his sister. Just nonsense. She walked away, daring Taehyung never worried. Her pace was due to the indignation caused by his irritational behavior. The other stood pressure at her borders until he tried Grandma. Finally spoke Grandma. She's right. Don't know where Taehyung is. How he must be feeling. She paused to sign an update at the fate of her grandchildren. Aren't go and look for him. He shouldn't be left alone at this moment. With that, she walked to her room in search of some mental peace. Aaron nodded and walked away in search of his brother. Today said his family deserved this time more than their tumbling thoughts. Taehyung auntie just shook and left the hall. Alone in the hall, the young uncle smiled sadly at the state of his family members, who were trying their hard to keep the consequence of their action away from their temporary face. But as they say, one day or other, the consequence of your mistakes will bite you back, and that too in the worst way possible.